Hello, Jerry again. It is December 21st, 2023. Still haven't uploaded anything on any social media, nothing like that yet. We still get that done. You might hear my dog a little bit. He's being a little antsy. Anyway, today should be video 5, I believe. We did video 4 yesterday, which I believe was plan center type stuff, finding jobs a bit. Well, this quick video, I'm going to explain to you how I start a project when I'm about to start bidding it. Uh, you know, I'll give an example. Let's do like a small road reconstruct, say 1,000 feet of, you know, remove the asphalt, curbs, sidewalks, a little bit of clearing, grubbing trees, maybe a little storm, inlets, curb, gutter, sidewalk, new asphalt, new manhole frame and lids, covers, whatever. So if I'm got a job that I'm going to bid, what I usually do, I still print everything out. I'm old school. I like the paper. So what I usually do is I take the drawings, lay them on my drafting table, which there's a draft table, and I kind of briefly go through the drawings real quick. I already probably went, did a little bit of research online with it before I printed them out. But when I get done and I'm ready to start bidding, the first thing I do is call the bonding agency, which I did in the past, talked a little bit about that in the past video. And I kind of give them a range. They want to know how much a job is going to be. Well, you never know till you're done bidding it, so I give them a range. I've been doing this long enough, I can usually get within 20%. Well, then what I do is I look through the bid form. Most jobs, if the engineer or the customer put a little bit of time into it, they usually produce a bid form. It'll be like on a road reconstruct, it'll be like mobilization, clearing and grubbing, erosion control, seeding, sidewalk removal, demo, however they put it, asphalt removal demo, or usually it's all under demo, but then it'll have, storm, this many feet of storm, 12-inch, maybe whatever size. Manhole, sewer and storm manhole, frame and covers, adjustments, new asphalt, rock base, aggregate base, however you want to put it, whether it's usually by yards or tons, usually tons. Sometimes they'll do area instead of a volume. But anyway, I briefly go through all that, the bid form. And the reason I do that is because I know right off the bat who I need to call for subcontractors and vendors. I know, hey, I need to call the pipe supplier because we're going to have this much storm. I know I can call up the curb and gutter sidewalk companies, have them give me a price. I also double check all my subcontractor quantities. I just don't take their quote or what the bid form. I double check all the quantities because a lot of it, if it's a bid form, a lot of times it's unit price. You get paid by the units of measure. Sometimes you see bid form or a bid that's lump sum. I really don't like lump sum bids, especially when you got bigger projects. I like bid forms. If it is a lump sum, I'll create my own bid form and put it in my bidding program, and that's how I'll stick with my takeoffs and everything. Well, I'll call all the subcontractors. It might be electricians for street loops or street lights. It might be, the curb and gutter, like I explained. If you don't have an asphalt crew, you might be calling the local asphalt company, whether they own their own asphalt plant or they're just pavers. You're getting all your subs handled right off the bat because you do want to get them looking at the job. Most of the time, they already know about the job because they're hunting them too. But it's always good to give them the first call. That's the first thing I do is I just spend like the first couple of days calling everybody, and I know about everybody, and it's good to catch up with them. So then moving forward, after I called my vendors, I start calling if you don't have your own aggregate pit, your own quarry, your own sand and gravel, whatever, because I work for companies that have and have not. Well, then I'm calling the ones I know, find out, make sure they got spec rock, make sure they tested it lately, and then I'm figuring out the hauls. If they don't have means of hauling or I don't have means of hauling, then I'm calling some independent truck drivers and figuring out my haul times with them. I'm also where I can backhaul, where I can truck and pub, where I can belly dump, where I can tub, where I can side dump. The hauling and trucking is money. You want those trucks loaded, coming and going to the job if you can bid it that way, if it's capable. A lot of times you can't. A lot of times you got an excavation one-way haul, and it is what it is. I also check with the rock pits and see if they can take any spoils back, whether it be dirt, sod, whatever it is. And I'm making those phone calls up front. Because when I get into the heart of doing takeoffs, I don't want to be making tons of phone calls. I want to be able to have that already in wheel and have these people already thinking about it. I'm also, like I said in a prior video, I'm also keeping an eye on the denims. keeping an eye on the project, talking to the engineers, talking to the customer. Um, but then when I get through the bid form, I take the bid form and I put it into my bidding program. That way I'm getting more of a mental quantities, subcontractors, vendors, everybody I need to call and talk to. And then I will gather all the paperwork after I talk to the bonding agency and fill out all their crap and send them. A lot of bid packages will have the bid bond they want you to use, a template. Sometimes they don't. I get all that double checked and out the door so the bonding company can start doing their thing. That's when that's all completed. Usually takes a couple days, at least for me. Maybe I'm slow. I don't know. After that's all done, I'm ready to start doing takeoffs, which I'll probably talk about in the next video. But that's how I prepare a bid when I'm starting it out. I usually look at the bid form first, get the bonding taken care of, get all my phone calls generated and going and emails, and then it's time for takeoff time. And I also, sometimes I'm a workaholic, so I'll start diving into the spec book too. I'll start looking, reading parts of the specs, making notes, highlighting. I'm one of those guys that I read the whole spec book. I mean, nowadays I'm doing it for so long, I do a lot of speed reading because a lot of it's a bunch of horse shit. It's the same old crap over and over and over. But I'm going through looking at the asphalt mix, the ODOT, or whatever spec, whatever state you work in, the rock, riprap. I'm looking at everything in that spec book that matters to me. If there's, I'm even reading stuff on my subcontractors, making sure they read it, because a lot of subcontractors don't read all the specs. They just read their little portion and that's it. I like to cover my bases and know as much about the project as I can. So I will be reading specs in between bidding a job. I don't really sit down and read them all at once anymore. I basically take on 2 or 3 divisions out of whack, whether it's called sections, divisions, depends how they prepared the volume 2 specs. That's what I do, and as I'm doing that, my bond's coming in, usually my bid bond's coming in. I'm usually getting subcontractors calling me back, asking me questions. And then I go through the whole contract thing, because they usually always give you an example of a contract so you know what you're going to be signing if you get the job. So basically, when I get my whole bid package filled out, sometimes it's got to be notarized, sometimes it's got to be attested by somebody, blah, 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 blah. Exciting. I usually will get the whole bid package put together, usually in 2 copies. I usually have copy 1 and copy 2, and they're all filled out. And that's how I prepare a bid. There's a million other things I can talk about, but I'm just giving Cliff Notes and some good advice. Anyway, have a wonderful and blessed day, and do something good for somebody and your family and yourself. Merry Christmas. Bye.